We're a 10th group working on the Quizlet project. As others, it's an adaptive learning and assessment tool for students, and we've tried to provide a competitive learning environment where the students can see how much they've learned and compare their progress with others. The system is divided into three primary modules. The first one is a learning module, which will have untimed questions adapting to the user performance, and these questions can come for a certain number of times. The next module is a test module, which will have weekly updating timed questions. There'll be 5 questions, and these will be global for all the users and will be accessible for 24 hours. And the third module is an assessment module, which will contain visualizations so that the user can see how they've performed compared to others, and they can see which topics need improvement. We wanted to make sure that the users have freedom to learn at their own pace, but we also wanted to encourage competition amongst themselves. So this, based on our system, we are trying not to compromise in either of these tasks. And this is partly inspired from the lead code model, which has some practice questions and weekly challenge coding, weekly coding challenges. Our topics are uh, modeled based on their interdependencies, and this way we have a topic graph, and for each topic our questions are weighed based on the number of incorrect responses from all users and the average time taken for by all the users, and each user in turn is scored for each topic, and that score is based on the weight of that question and the number of times they have answered it correctly in the learning module. The scores which are obtained from the timed questions are used to find some similar users, and given giving those scores, we provide encouragement to the users to perform better in the consequent quizzes. Here is our basic system flow. A user signs up and selects some topics based on their preference. This way, we avoid the cold start problem. And based on the questions from those topics, we start scoring the user and building up his profile. After that, wherever the user logs in, they'll be faced with some questions based on the existing model. And each time, the weight of the question will be updated, and the knowledge gain of that user will be updated for that topic. Here is how our signing up looks like. We let the user enter some details and let them select a few topics which they are comfortable with. Once they select the topics they're comfortable with, we provide some questions, and once a certain threshold is reached, we navigate from that topic to their neighbors in the topic graph. And this way, we cover all the topics in the graph and make sure that the user has faced all the questions present in the data set. And here's how our learning module looks like. The user can take the quiz, and the bands above specify the level of that question, easy, moderate, or difficult. And after answering the question, we let them know if whether it's correct or not. And for each question, the user can see why they are being shown this question in the form of their knowledge gain and the number of times they've answered it correctly. And the user gets to skip a question. If the user has skipped a question immediately after seeing it, we assume that that is because the user is not comfortable with that topic. So we don't count that as an incorrect question. But if it's after a certain amount of time, we consider that as an incorrect question and include that in the user knowledge gain. Here's our rapid fire module. Users can answer 5 questions in a given amount of time, and here 2 questions will be from the easy level, 2 will be moderate level, and 1 will be a difficult question. And after answering these questions, the user can see how they performed and see the correct answers for each of those questions. Next is our visualizations. Here we show the user's daily activity based on the number of questions they have answered per day, the knowledge gain for each topic, compared to the average knowledge gained by all the users, the scores in the weekly quizzes compared to the average score from all the users, and the number of easy, moderate, or difficult questions they have answered correctly, and the numbers which are left. Our system was evaluated by a few AHC students, a couple of freshmen, and some graduate students. Uh, the overall response was positive, and the users were faced with questions based on their level. While the overall weights of the questions were a little skewed due to the more number of graduate students in the amongst the candidates, this did not really affect the performance of the quiz for the freshmen, since we used the weights only to rank the questions and not in any other way. In future, within the next 2 days, we are working on improving upon our UI, and later on we can evaluate our performance by the performance of an existing model such as the PKT model, and we can provide mentors for students who are underperforming in some topics. uh, yeah, so that's it. Thank you.